Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
September 10, 1817 America, New York, lieutenant describes being inside Pentagon daycare during 9/11 attack. CNN's Jake Tapper speaks with retired Brigadier General Dana Bourne about the moment she saw the 9/11 attack on the Pentagon while her then 3-year-old daughter, Second Lieutenant Hannah Bourne, was inside the Pentagon's daycare facility.
New York Times World News. September 10, 1814 America, New York. U.S. forces were training the Guinean soldiers who took off to stage a coup. American military officials have denounced the ouster of a president in West Africa, and said they had no warning of what their students were planning. People celebrating in the streets with members of Guinea's armed forces on Sunday, after soldiers toppled Guinea's president, Alpha Condé, in a coup d'état in the capital, Conakry. RT World News. September 10, 1807 America, New York. U.S. misled me into joining Mujahideen, then tortured me for Al-Qaeda past. Gitmo survivor says U.S. acted like fascists post 9/11. A former Islamist fighter who went to Afghanistan to fight the Soviets and later got caught up in the U.S. war on terror, spending 14 years in the Guantanamo prison as a result, spoke to RT as part of the Unheard Voices project. New York Times World News. September 10, 1800 America, New York. What Canada's election could mean for gun ban. The Conservative Party leader, Aaron O'Toole, rolled back a promise to end a ban on assault weapons, giving his opponents less room to maneuver. Mr. O'Toole, the Conservative leader, with Mr.
September 10, 1746 America, New York. Judge orders Capitol riot defendant remain jailed after lashing out over Foxitis assertion. A judge on Friday ordered a U.S. Capitol riot defendant to remain jailed in part because of a previous incident in which the defendant became so incensed by the suggestion that a person who took part in the January 6 attack had Foxitis that he allegedly threatened a probation officer. September 10, 1744 America, New York. Over 100 birds have been found covered in oil as a result of spills caused by Hurricane Ida. Dozens of birds have been submerged in oil from spills in Louisiana caused by Hurricane Ida, and wildlife officials expect more will be found. September 10, 1739 America, New York. House lawmakers investigating January 6 say they need much more information from social media companies. The House committee investigating the deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6 issued a not-so-subtle threat Friday to social media companies, saying the panel still needs much more information and would use any available means to compel them to cooperate.
New York Times World News. September 10, 1737 America, New York. Israel captures 2 of 6 Palestinian fugitives who escaped prison. The escape on Monday was seen as a rare humiliation of Israel's security establishment, and celebrated by Palestinians. The other 4 inmates remain at large. Israeli soldiers near a fence leading to the West Bank on Friday, during the search for the militants who escaped from Gilboa prison this week.
Mirror World News. September 10, 1716 America, New York. Horrified mom hears chilling man's voice on hacked baby monitor saying child is cute. Kiera said she was woken by the sound of a man's voice shortly after putting baby Zico to bed in his cot before frantically checking all rooms for a stranger in their house.
Fox World News. September 10, 1659 America, New York. Kabul Red Cross aiding victims of war is determined to remain open. Please do not forget Afghanistan. As thousands of people risked their lives attempting to flee Afghanistan during the withdrawal of U.S. forces last month, Italian physiotherapist Alberto Cairo, working at the clinic he has led in Kabul for more than 3 decades, felt horror.
Mirror World News. September 10, 1659 America, New York. Lizard traveled 4,000 miles in woman's bra from Barbados to Yorkshire. The tiny gecko, now called Barbie, was spotted by Lisa Russell as she unpacked her suitcase after arriving back at her home in Rotherham, South Yorkshire after a sunny break on the Caribbean island.
New York Times World News. September 10, 1659 America, New York. In U.S. drone strike, evidence suggests no ISIS bomb. U.S. officials said a Reaper drone followed a car for hours and then fired based on evidence it was carrying explosives. But in-depth video analysis and interviews at the site cast doubt on that account.
World CBS News, com. September 10, 1650 America, New York. Researchers who dangled rhinos upside down earn Ig Nobel. The study was one of 10 projects that earned kudos for getting people to laugh and then think.
September 10, 1644 America, New York. TV characters that didn't stand the test of time. Plus, American Rust, and what we want to see at the VMAs. After a short week that somehow felt longer than most, it's time for this week's TVOT. Fox World News. September 10, 1638 America, New York. France bans unvaccinated Americans from entering for non-essential travel. France will update its travel guidance to include bans for travelers from the United States and Israel without a COVID-19 vaccination. September 10, 1635 America, New York. Israeli data on COVID-19 vaccine boosters to publish in prominent medical journal ahead of key FDA committee meeting next week. Ahead of a key meeting of vaccine advisors to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the New England Journal of Medicine will publish Israeli data showing that a booster shot of Pfizer's vaccine dramatically decreased severe COVID-19. Drive. September 10, 1634 America, New York. September 11th affected the entire nation. Here's how local newspapers are covering the 20th anniversary. Watch CNN's Shine a Light, a commercial-free 9/11 20th anniversary tribute, hosted by Jake Tapper and featuring musical performances by Maroon 5, H.E.R., Brad Paisley, and Common on Saturday, September 11th at 8 p.m.
Time. September 10, 1619 America, New York. Gabrielle Union. The Hard Truth About My Surrogacy Journey. In 2016, my doctor, Kelly Beck, a no-nonsense reproductive endocrinologist in LA, gave it to me straight. Your best chance for a healthy baby would be surrogacy. Time. September 10, 1617 America, New York. Norway's fossil fuel reliance is going to the ballot box. Fossil fuels helped to catapult Norway from a stable but small fishing and timber economy into one of the wealthiest and most progressive welfare states in the world.
New York Times World News. September 10, 1615 America, New York. Times investigation. In U.S. drone strike, evidence suggests no ISIS bomb. U.S. officials said a Reaper drone followed a car for hours and then fired based on evidence it was carrying explosives. But in-depth video analysis and interviews at the site cast doubt on that account.